Oh yeah. Says receiving content. What the fuck is going on? Start playing this new Mario game. Green Helmet, what's up, man? Says red, rest in peace. What do you mean? What are you talking about, bud? What you talking about, man? Yeah, it acted up for a second, man. I don't know what's going on, man. I just started the stream too. Hey, check out this new sweet Mario game, man. You can do fucking wall jumps and shit. If I can do it. There we go. Need to practice that and then just slam dunk. Boom. Yeah. I like the sounds of this game too. Like, that sounds sweet. Little levers, boom. Oh, you little fucker. So I figured tonight I might as well show some stream love to this channel on YouTube. And I died like a motherfucker. Mario. This is the demo. It only has like four levels, but what are you gonna do? It's still very nice. Slam dunk, slam dunk, slam dunk. Boom. Caught your ass. A stack of coins. Nice. Yeah, I decided to start the stream a little early in case Progressive Voice started streaming. I'm watching 2 streams now. It's what else you watching? I want to see what this does. Huh. It's a me and Mario. Oh, a step back in history? 10,000 years ago, before the toilet was invented. Things were really shitty. I'm here all week. Tip your waitstaff. Damn, come on, Piranha Plant, move it. Yeah, there we go. Sweet. What are they talking about exactly? Come on, you dumb turtle. He's an anarchist, by the way. Okay. He's anarchist, okay. He actually wants real anarchy, not this pseudo anarchy, which actually ends up installing a state of feudalistic overlords and whatnot. Oh shit! Got one heart left. Come on, let me go down. Oh, I almost did it. This is nice. Whoever did this. I knew that was gonna happen. Fuck. What's up, Jack? What's going on, man? How you doing? Welcome to the room. Hey, do you see the way my mic is set up now? It's actually set up on a, well, bootleg mic stand, but yeah. It looks more professional. Not just dangling and hangling. Oh shit. Squish the turtle. Glad you guys can make it tonight. Glad everybody is here so far. So happy about that. I don't know how long the stream is going to be. It's going to be as long as it can, I guess. Unless Progressive Voice starts doing his thing. I have a feeling he might be doing that. Oh hell no. Oh hell no. This game is so new, man. It's like it's a demo. Yeah. Maybe with my room title I can get some trumpers in here. Try to talk some yang. Oh hell no. Getting piranha plant bastard. Fuck, I'm gonna die. Fuck it. That was a bad start, man. I got past this level the first time's pretty easy. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe I'm just rushing it. Get past this part. Yeah, but I've seen the little exchange in the White House today. That was funny as shit. Watson might be an incel, man. I don't know. I kind of feel bad for him, but if you're an incel and shit, cause like that, is it your fault you ain't getting laid or whatever? But I don't know. And sometimes girls are just picky about shit. God of incels. He might be, man. He look. Oh shit. He looks like my long lost brother or some shit. Bald motherfucker. I was thinking about doing a. Once I learn more about him, I'm thinking about doing a mockery video of him acting like him, talking like, "Oh, the government's so benevolent." You know, I'll say the same thing about the free market. If these labels are just realized, and I'd do like his accent, but all jackassy. I'm still working on that. Just to tee the fuck out of him. That guy is fucking nuts. Guy has no sense of reality. Little bastard hammer thrower. Come on. He scams people for donations, yet he is loaded with money from Bitcoin. Yeah. There we go, not past that. Yeah, he would be a schemy motherfucker. In his ANCAP fantasy, he can rip people off and get away with it. Because any rules in the market against doing shady business is interference in the market, and therefore against ANCAPper, you know, ANCAPper philosophy. So you're allowed to knowingly rip people off. Like, yeah, people want a system they get ripped off by clever people. Yeah, sure. Sure, man. Like, what a dipshit. And he claims to be, like, yeah, he claims to be an empiricist. No. He's a half-assed empiricist. Oh shit, I guess gotta use you then, don't I? Get the fire flower? Finally, yes. He's not Nazi. Well, there's a lot of Nazis for his fan base, so sorry, he's attracting the wrong kind of. Like, you may not be Nazi, dude, but you kind of sound like one. You look like, you know the old saying, you look like a duck, you walk like one, sound like one. You might be one. I mean, if he wants to be a Nazi or whatever, it's fine by me. He just better just come out and say it, just instead of acting like he's not. He's definitely, I mean, he comes out in favor of white nationalism and shit. Like, what kind of shit is that? It's a green star. Come on. Oh! Come on, you turtles, get down here. These turtles are chicken shit. What the hell? Come on, jump down, will ya? Guess I had to do that. We're almost at the end of the first level. Seeing Gavin McGinnis video about immigration is so fucking. No, I don't even like watching their shit, dude. I'll be honest. They're just such dishonest actors that I hate knowingly listening and watching to a dishonest actor. I hate it. I mean, I pretty much know like they're just gonna genuflect and there's gonna be pretty much a mouthpiece for white imperialism and shit. I really don't want to support that shit. I don't want to give them no views, no nothing. I am not into that shit. I mean, he's obviously doing it just for the views, just for the, well, the money and shit. Listen to this music. Do 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 do. Sound like some Mario techno and shit. Got my flower power back. Yes. Whew. Gotta pass that shit. He got a crush on you, huh? And then sweet. He got a crush on you. I need that. Well, I shouldn't respond like that because he wants to break off a piece of your white chocolate. Like in the, you ever seen a movie Let's Go to Prison? It'd be kind of like that. He'd be like, "Come on, man, I made you some Merlot in the toilet." Oh, come on, that's true love, man. Come on. Oh, that's so sweet. He likes you, big fella. Hey, when it happens, it'll happen, man. See if we get the green star. There we go. Yes. Green star. Oh shit. Phew. I'm getting. Did I get hit? Oh, I got hit. See you later, Koopas. God, I made another save point, thank God, dude. I love this new game. I only discovered this game about 2 days ago. Well, the demo. Some people might be confused and be like, oh, is this the old Mario? Hey, nope. Yeah, I got another mushroom. Yeah, but now Chump is pissing at his pants. Because every day that happens is a day closer to getting to the new Congress. What's up, Jeremy? How you doing, man? This is a demo of a new kind of Mario game. It's by Flashback Say. Let me look it up. I'll put the link in the room so y'all can see it. Mario. Trying to see where it is. It's basically just 4 levels. This is a demo. It's a test program of the game's engine, and see what the download might be. Here you go. Here we go. Check that out, man. That's where the link is, I believe. But I love this new demo. It is so good. And I like my new microphone setup too. It's no longer just hangling dangling. No, let's see if I jump without getting killed. Yeah, oh. New queue, oh shit. Listen to that music. I know the sound effects anyway. Play Cat Mario. What is that? I might do that. This game is so new in development that it doesn't really have any sound controls. So hopefully it's not too loud for you. Oh, I dodged that shit like the Matrix. Oh, I dodged his ass. End of the level. Man, listen to that shit. It's a me, Mario. Sub back. Welcome back, Jack. What's going on? Did you have to use the restroom? He had to take a big old shit. And I don't blame him. I hate how it gets rid of your flower at the beginning of the level, even though you didn't lose it. Get some coins. Clean. There's my flower power, yeah. Beautiful. You were running one more lap. Oh wow. Ah! I tried grabbing the wall, but shit. I figured I'd showcase this game a little bit so everybody can get a chance to see it. Because it really is, it's a new game, or at least it's a new demo based off an old classic. I love it so much. Oh shit. Keep getting hit. Oh, you little bastard. Those little brownies are sneaky. I'm gonna burn some Koopas. Get some more coins. Bing. And bing. I just love how Chump is now shitting all over himself. Damn! I didn't realize I had one more hit. Chump is all scared now because that new Congress is coming in. If he thinks he's having a rough time with this current Congress, oh god, dude, he's in for some shit. That was hilarious. Him going back with him, Trump, Pelosi, and Schumer were going back and forth with each other. But I'm pretty sure whatever Trump said, because of what he said, pleases his base, like it typically would. Motherfucker. These games are getting hard, man. Oh, levels. I'll try one more time. I'll play something else. Maybe we'll watch some of these videos too. Son of a bitch. I guess I have to avoid them. I don't want to get hit no more. There we go. Get my flower. Oh, by the way, tomorrow night, my buddy got me a free buffet. Free buffet deal at the casino. I'm about to eat some crab legs tomorrow night at the casino. Free buffet. So hopefully that works out. God, I needed that. Maybe I'll put that on my Twitter. I don't know. Come on, regenerate. Squish you, because I don't like you. Can I make it? How can I make that? Got it. Like a potluck. Yes, flying turtles. I said, fuck. Again, bullshit. Well, at least I got to a save point. Hop over these bastards. Cause that shit sucked. Any more flowers? Hell no. Oh, there is. Come on. Get past it. I'd love to see the wolf destroy the lobster. Yeah, me too. As in Richard Wolf and Peterson. Yeah. That was a real shame that ah, shit. Oh, that's the big jump. Shit. That was a real shame that Peterson punked out like that. He straight hoed out. Mr. Alpha Male eats meat all day long. Punked out. Damn. He said, no, I don't want to go up against Hammy Biggity Bean. I'll tell Peterson, dude, use a bitch. Get this guy out the fucking way. Made it. Peterson knows much about economics as Miley Cyrus. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Peterson knows just enough about economics, to be fair, to use it to his advantage and to sell shit to suckers. How can I just kill one of these little bastards? There we go. See if I can. Made it. Got your ass. Here's another tricky little part. Jump down, you little prick. Anything up here? Coin. Nope, and that's the end of this level. One more level. See if I can make it. You are a super player. Oh, I guess that was it. Guess I'm a super player. Oh, there's a little bit of a ending a little bit. Cool. I love that game. We're gonna do some fuck it, let's do some Donkey Kongers. I know it's gonna play the fuck out, but fuck it. Increase the volume. Turn you up. I did not want to do that. There we go. The hell? Come on, fuck on. There we go. Sweet. Let's go get the 1 life bonus. Alright. Get my little buddy out. Get my little buddy. Oh shit. So hopefully tomorrow night I'll be eating some crab meat at the casino. And hopefully they don't pull some bullshit like, oh no, hey, that buffet only applies to certain days or some shit like that. Oh hell no. Oh yeah, shit. Fuck me. Where's that at? I gotta add a window. Oh, I gotta re-add the window. Wait. Where the fuck did it go? Display capture, Mario, audio. I got too much shit as listed as sources, man. Guess I got a game capture, CSNES. Does that work? super move. Thanks for pointing that out, Green. I'm trying to get that. It's being stupid. Try window capture. No Z, SVS. There we go. Now to move you down. Lock you in place, alright, cool. Should be good now, it's coming up on my OBS. Oh shit, another one. I did bad. Get that fat bastard out of the way. Oh. Sweet. And another life. Sweet. Doo doo doo. Yeah, I've been trying to reach out to other YouTubers and shit, like Jamal Thomas. I sent him an email through his business email. He hasn't responded to me. Like, hey, is there any way, you know, anything I can do for you to promote my channel to help get the progressive message out? And I guess, wow, that's like that progressive voice thing. I think he just straight ignored me on that. And Jamal Thomas too. Maybe they're worried I'm gonna take all their Patreon money or something. I don't know. Like, guys, the market hasn't even begun to open up. We just gotta get the word out. More people will follow. That's how they gotta see it. No, they're thinking kind of small. I think I've seen this stuff. Yeah. Yeah, we'll check his stuff out here in a second. Pineal Express. Yeah, I think I've seen his name somewhere before. You little bastard. Got me golden for. Oh man, I almost rolled right off that. They got Natalie Wynn from ContraPoints and Mark Blithon before. Oh, okay. So Pineal Express actually promotes smaller YouTubers. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll check that out. Yeah, I'm gonna do my part in pissing off the right-wingers and cappers and whatnot. Those fools are straight selling ideological poison to fucking people, and to me that ain't cool, man. That I must take offense to. Yeah, ContraPoint's got like 6,000 fucking patrons and shit, dude. That's fucking nuts. I just got my first patron about a week ago, and that's from Ruben Garcia. He was so kind to give me $2 a month, which is fucking sweet. Now if I can get somebody get that to $2,000 a month. Yeah, I can do this. I can buy all kinds of equipment, do this full time and shit. Be like my own David Pacman, except I say cuss words and shit. Or be like the older Kyle Kalinske, who just knows a little bit less. La la la. Neoliberalism and right-wing conservatism is the sickness, and progressivism is the cure. Oh shit, got my ass. Yeah, let's check out his channel real quick. Let's do Chrome capture. Where the hell's that at? Where did that go? It's running somewhere. Let me. No, I spelled that wrong. Pineal. It's pretty serious. 316 subscribers. Huh. I'll subscribe to his channel. Let's see if I can add the window. There we go. Move this down. That should do it. Lock that in place. Oh, damn, it's like an hour long. Pineal Pedo Pole Express. Inverted pentagram. Oh, that's neat. Let's try this one.
So under SSD, a lot of people have worked very harsh jobs a lot of times, that are really hard on their bodies. But also I notice a lot of people have the notion of hard work as being one of the highest virtues. Now, of course, working hard and having, feeling good about yourself, there's nothing wrong with that. But what I notice is when I'm talking to people that are in the process of having their claim evaluated, a lot of people express a lot of embarrassment to me. Mm-hmm. They say, I'm very embarrassed for feeling like I have to do this. And it's I think also a lot of times it's coupled with depression because, and people will allege depression a lot of times, but people really feel useless when they're not working. And so, that is something I noticed that kind of is just a broader cultural norm that I feel could be adjusted if people on average had a more accurate picture of what public programs are. And, you talked about on a previous DMT episode how welfare queen and, these horrible narratives about how people, suckle the system and, how people that shouldn't even have that attitude and are directing it at the wrong people. The downstream effects are when people do need help, they feel ashamed, they feel embarrassed. And I always tell people, like, look, a lot of times, you will indirectly pay for a lot of these programs yourself if you've worked even at all. And, you pay into these systems. And even if you don't, there is a baseline level of dignity that I think people should feel. And to suffer in poverty is clearly unacceptable. And yet the societal attitudes almost suggest that these people that have these negative attitudes you almost get the impression that they would prefer these people to be homeless or to like feel the wrath of not working hard enough. And it's gross and it has an impact on people.
Yeah. And
I want to say before I continue, this guy does bring up a pretty interesting point that here's the thing. Like he says, hey, we're going to pay for it one way or another. That's definitely true. You can do the more effective, less expensive option, say with a basic income, or we can do what we're doing now, which costs more and is less effective and has all these negative effects. But the most important thing is people talk about dependency. All those people, they're just dependent, or they're leeching off the system or whatever. When in fact it's the widespread widespread and robust economic system that we all are dependent on. Okay, so I mean, people want to try to say, "Oh, you're just a dependent loser." That's bullshit. Well, you're dependent too. Like, well, how's that? Well, you're dependent on a strong economy, aren't you? Well, yeah. And there are ways to actually strengthen it through more effective, less expensive ways to actually free people up. And it's Green Element's right. Is the corporations are the ones sucking from the system systematically, extracting the wealth and hardly paying anything back in taxes that's worthwhile. So, it's like we're all dependent on a widespread and robust economic system, which is propped up by the tax-funded economic infrastructure that allows for us to be able to be at our level of monetary gainfulness. People talk about dependency, like fuck off. We're all dependent, unless you're living in the mountains, far, far away, somewhere in Colorado or Virginia. And to a degree, they're kind of dependent on the economic system too, but not as much. But for the vast majority of Americans, if you want to try to say, oh, we want to try to point the finger at other people being dependent, well, you point it back at yourself because you're dependent on the widespread, robust economy that our society enjoys. And you're just as dependent as anybody else, really. And just they need to, not throw stones in glass houses and shit. It's just really ridiculous. But I'll continue this video.
And there's a lot to unpack there also. So part of it was you
Yep,
talked about the cultural work ethic and
exactly,
how
Green.
we're taught that our dignity and our self-worth comes from work. And so when people get disabled and can't work, they get very depressed about that because the culture tells you you're valuable to the extent that you can work.
Yes.
And that to me is not a problem with the having of a disability. It's a societal problem where we don't value people for who those people are. We value them as workers.
Absolutely.
Which benefits capitalism because it's meant to justify people's exploitation because, you might be paid minimum wage, working a really tough job, making somebody else rich off the excess value of your labor, but you're a hard worker, damn it, and that's your identity now. And there's virtue in that, and these are the ideologies that get spread around in our society. It also shows that above and beyond, I think, the mere societal reinforcement of your value comes from work, there is...
How old is this? Oh, cool, yeah. Where's the comments? I want to put that in the comments section before I forget. I'll say that. Unless you are living on a remote by yourself or in the mountains, we all are dependent on a widespread and robust economic system. Of that system being spread and robust, we would all be how should I say this? We would all be fucked economically. So when someone points out that someone is dependent, and they need to look in a 15 mirror themselves. Smiley face. thumbs up to the video because no one's really thumbs up it.
I think a human drive to participate in some kind of communal activity, whether you're, irrespective of how shitty your job is, maybe you like some of your coworkers, or maybe you like even if you hate what you're doing, you might like the aspect of being on like a team if you're working with a group of other people at whatever job you're doing. Yep. Or granted, you may hate your coworkers too, but I think just being out there in a community is in and of itself healthy. Yeah. And that to me suggests if we ever were to have a UBI situation, a real UBI,
yes.
Not one of these, I'm going to replace disability and healthcare with UBI, so people with disabilities can spend all their UBI money on healthcare and everyone else can spend it all on luxuries. No, I mean, a real UBI, yes, and policy. If we had something like that, people who are not disabled wouldn't merely stop working for partly that reason. And I think, even if we do the good thing, which is to get rid of this societal fixing of one's value to one's labor, I think there still is enough impetus sort of in human nature for people to still, maybe they'll volunteer and do something that would now be considered charity because they're if people were to get UBI someday, they would be freed up to do something like that. Or maybe
I do want to say, I want to add one more thing, that when someone says that another person has no value, that's not true. Even the laziest, bummiest person has value as a consumer, because with their consumer spending, they actually grow the GDP, like things like 2 to whatever for every dollar they spend over the course of the year, they grow the GDP, or they add to it, I think it's between 2 to 3 times. So if a person that's very poor spends $10,000 in consumer spending over the course of the year, that $10,000 actually adds to the GDP, like between $20,000 and $30,000 added to the GDP in growth. So your consumer spending alone justifies, one, you being a person with some value, and two, being rightfully claimful or claimant to a citizen's dividend or the basic income that I feel which would actually demonstrably save us money compared to what we're doing now, and it'd be a citizen's dividend that would provide basic financial security to everyone 18 and over. And it just makes so much sense to do it. And he says, Dave Rubin is as good as debating Lil Wayne as Carmichael's toilet. I don't get that reference. Shit, but I'll continue.
People participate in the arts, or maybe people participate in some other communal activity. Maybe people plant trees together, or maybe people, just hang out in groups and build actual communities and form social supports with each other in a way that is productive and in a way that is laborious but is not exploitative. So I think part of what you're talking about speaks to some of these broader truths, even outside the realm of the disability office itself.
To continue the example of the person that works their whole lives and uses that as their personal virtue, you could have somebody that they work a hard, laborious job, then they stop working, their body is destroyed, and they feel like they're dysfunctional. Mm-hmm. And so capitalism and some of these jobs are so harsh that they expedite the degradation process of your body that everyone goes through. So sometimes the harshness is actually straight up strictly physical, but we could, and obviously we've touched on the psychological, but
yeah. So I want to talk about personal experience here, because this is some of this disability stigma does certainly affect me because I'm on disability. And just for the record, I was on disability before you got your job at the disability office. So just to clear that up in case anyone's curious if there's any connection, there's actually not.
Sure.
But so with disability stigma, oftentimes I'll hear from even doctors like, oh, well, let's work on this treatment for you, this treatment for you, this treatment for you, so that you can contribute to society again. And I always get in their face when they say that, like, oh, you mean I can't contribute to society now that I'm disabled? Disabled people are no contribution to society? Is that what you're saying?
And it does tend to make them embarrassed when I confront them like that. But you can see how pervasive it is that people are taught that other people's value comes from their labor or their riches or their actual material wealth. And there is the poem by John Milton who talked about when he went blind and talked about, how can God grant day labor, daylight denied, basically. So he's blind. How can he work? How can he, where does his value come from? And he ends the poem by saying, they also serve who only stand and wait, which is to say that even the mere continuing to press on and even the mere taking care of oneself is in and of itself a positive gain for society that sometimes gets lost because it's not exploited labor. You're not working for some other person. You're just trying to get your shit together. But maybe there's a lesson in that. Maybe there's value in people being an example of somebody who presses on in the face of adversity, including the adversity that can come from their health condition. And maybe that can, teach other people something about society. And maybe that can teach some people something about what care means. Because so much of our society is labor focused and capital focused that there is a neglect for the necessity of care. And everybody, from the time they were an infant, or certainly when they get very elderly, or any time in between when they either have bad luck or they, may have bad luck in addition to a health problem, people need care. There's nobody in existence that can survive throughout their entire life without care, and there is an under-emphasis on care, I think partly because it's free, or tends to be free. I mean, sometimes it is commodified. And also partly, I think there's some misogyny in it, right? Because care is traditionally, quote unquote, women's work and unwaged and therefore unwaged labor traditionally. I think a lot of this intersects in a way that promotes a sense of like, are you pulling your weight type of a thing? Or why am I spending my tax dollars to care for somebody when I don't care about anybody, is what people say and shit like that. Or, oh, there's these, disability cheats or these welfare queens or blah, 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 when actually their tax dollars are not so much going to that. They're going to war and they're going to, military contracting. And so I think there is an inherent dignity even in being disabled, being an example of how a person can contribute to their society and be productive and maintain meaningful relationships and be an important part of their community while they're not working traditional work.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Definitely a worthwhile channel. Yeah, cool. Got twice as many subs, but it's all right by me. let's see what else we got. What we got going on here? See what PV's been doing. that face I'm on you. That's his less crazy days. Look up porn. No, I ain't doing that. I wish I could, man. Get a little too excited. There's one video I want to watch from the David Pakman show. Look at all these wonderful people I'm subscribed to. Where's he at? There he is. I see him. There he is. Yeah, I've seen this one about Republicans privately considering dumping Donald Trump. Like, wow. It is going downhill for him, good. And my liberal heart bleeds. There's another one I wanted to see. I need a microphone stand like that. Yeah, that'd be a nice little setup. Oh, here you go. David Pakman's show. Which one, Jack?
we sort of are moving from, to make this an analogy to sort of a chess game, we're moving from the mid game to the end game. And in the fiasco that is the Donald Trump presidency, Donald Trump is now privately expressing concern that he's going to get impeached. Now, to be clear, I already know that if you're a Trumpist, you're going to call this entire story fake news. So don't even bother. Just skip it. Don't even bother writing to me about it. I know that you're not going to believe anything about this report. Now, for everybody else, let's actually talk about
Thumbs
what's
up.
going on. There's a new report with multiple sources, which tells us that Donald Trump privately is expressing concern about being impeached when Democrats take over the House in January of 2019. When it comes to why Donald Trump thinks he'd be impeached, it is only related to the campaign finance violations connected to Michael Cohen's felonies and guilty pleas. Trump does not think that he will be impeached for so-called Russian collusion or for obstruction of justice or any of that stuff. He believes it will be an impeachment solely because of the payoffs to former mistresses, felonies which Michael Cohen participated in, committed under the specific direction of Donald Trump. Now, Trump likewise seems to understand that the House merely brings the impeachment forward. Ultimately, it would be up to the Senate to vote on whether to remove Donald Trump from office. Republicans, of course, hold the Senate. They're going to continue holding the Senate in 2019. Donald Trump does not think that Republicans would vote for his removal, except that there's another story from Capitol Hill today, which I'll talk about next, which might make us question that assumption. But I agree with Trump in a sense, which is that if the only incident at issue is that of the campaign finance related felonies that Michael Cohen pleaded guilty to, which we know that he did at Donald Trump's direction, I agree. I don't think that the Senate, a Republican-controlled Senate, is going to vote to impeach Donald Trump on that basis. The more pressing question is, do we really believe that by the time it's all said and done, by the time Robert Mueller is finished here, that those felonies committed by Michael Cohen at Donald Trump's direction are going to be the only thing that we're going to have on Trump? I don't think that that's likely. It doesn't seem that Donald Trump actually knows the full scope of what Mueller has on him right now. The campaign finance felonies will be nothing if we end up with evidence of Trump trading promises of sanctions relief to a foreign power in exchange for help defeating Hillary Clinton. And we haven't even gotten to all of the obstruction. So if Trump's position right now is based on the idea that only the campaign finance felonies will be at issue, I tend to agree with him. He's not going to get impeached over that. The question is, what else will we know by the time it's all said and done? The obstruction fiasco, as an example,
Jack, you're goofy,
is well documented in the public domain. Never mind what investigators have, which we just don't know yet at this point. I don't know what Trump's smocking, to take a vocabulary word out of his recent tweets, I don't know what Trump's smocking, if he thinks mistress payoffs are ultimately going to be the only issue here. Most of the Democrats I've seen interviewed so far, Pat, understand this is not the time to talk about impeachment. A couple of Democrats have talked about it. I think it's a strategic mistake. I believe at this point, what Democrats should be saying about what are you going to do once you take over in January, focus on what they want to do for the American people when they take over. Talk about what they want to investigate. The investigative power of the House is powerful. But let the facts lead them to impeachment if ultimately they will, rather than talking now about any plan to impeach Trump.
Yeah, I certainly think that most Democrats recognize that it would be a bad idea to impeach him, knowing that they probably couldn't get him out of office, that they couldn't get the 67 votes needed in the Senate. And also, if it was over something like campaign finance violations related to a mistress payoff, like a very similar thing happened with Bill Clinton in '98. He was impeached for lying about a sexual affair. This is kind of similar, right? It's the same kind of scope and scale, and I don't think they're going to want to repeat that mistake.
No, I think they're going to need more. And the one area where I disagree is if they have more on Trump by March 2019, June 2019, Even if it's not something that would get Republicans in the Senate to act to remove Trump, I actually would be okay with filing impeachment, with moving forward with impeachment in the House if it's the right thing to do. I just think that it's going to be a tough one to move forward on if all we have is these Cohen felonies which Trump directed. But I am confident that there's going to be more. I would be shocked if there isn't more by the time it's all said and done. But the one thing I'm not mentioning here yet is
There's going
what
to
if
be more.
Republicans do decide that they're sick of Donald Trump? And that's what I want to talk about next. One of today's sponsors is Skill.
There we go. Here it is. Vladimir Putin
It's not just
by
how you celebrate.
Slava
It's the food you
Business.
celebrate
Okay.
with. That's how you holiday.
Care about Trump, who might be by Donald Trump's problems and by the progress of the Russia investigation, which daily is tightening
Green
around
is
Trump
back.
and
What's
his
up, man?
family rather than loosening, to the point that Los Angeles Times reporter Eli Stokols said on MSNBC yesterday that Republicans are privately telling him that if Mueller has more wrongdoing by Trump than just these felonies he directed Michael Cohen to commit, that if they obtain information that suggests Trump approved of wrongdoing or even had knowledge of wrongdoing, that they may dump Trump to save the Republican Party. Check out what Eli Stokols said yesterday to Nicole
Isn't
Wallace
that
on
horrible
MSNBC.
news?
But when all the facts are laid out and people can see the investigators' work, I think it's going to be very problematic for this president. And there is some understanding, I think, inside the White House of just how dark it may be getting, especially in terms of conversations, private conversations that people there are having with Republicans on the Hill who are starting to be concerned, Republican lawmakers who have a huge role to play in this if it goes forward, are starting to tell me privately, some of them, that, you know, if there's obvious evidence, the bottom's going to fall out. They're not going to be able to stand by this White House, and that's a looming problem for the president.
Ooh.
So this is a reporter claiming it. There are right-wingers writing this off as merely made up, but this is not a pundit, right? Eli Stokols is a reporter for the Los Angeles Times. He has serious sources in Washington, D.C. He has no reason to make this up. The risks to him professionally to just making this up are huge. And more importantly, he's not really saying anything that's hard to believe. Privately, on the condition of anonymity, Republicans are telling him, we're aware of how bad this is. We're aware that if it gets bad and it gets worse, simply standing by Trump no matter what comes out would be bad for us. Obviously, right? Who could fault them for that? They care about self-preservation. They don't really care about Trump. Trump's not even been a Republican most of his life, and he has no particular loyalty to the Republican Party beyond it being the team that he chose to play on right now as President Trump. We would be expecting Republicans to be saying this. We stand behind Trump up until the point at which it becomes damaging for us and for the party, and then we're going to bail. And interestingly, Stokols said during the same MSNBC appearance that the Giuliani-Trump plan right now is to keep attacking the investigators. We've said this before, Pat, and we'll say it again. I don't remember who it was that tweeted, Sarah Huckabee Sanders maybe. When you're attacking FBI investigators, you know that you're in trouble. If your strongest tactic is to attack the people doing the investigation, you're not in a strong position.
It sounds to me like attacking investigators is a sign of weakness, a sign that they don't have anything, and a poor argument, really.
What we're seeing is the development of Trump from a sort of political curiosity into a political liability, which was predicted pretty early on in Trump's campaign that this is what it would become. And there may even be some way in which Republicans, as they see the stock market become more and more erratic, as they see the jobs numbers fall further and further behind expectations, as they see the world laughing at us day in and day out, there are some Republicans who don't really care about Trump who might be hoping that whatever Mueller comes up with is really serious and unequivocal and definitive so that they can say, listen, I'm a Republican and I like the president, but if he did something that bad, then he just has to go. Republicans may be hoping that Robert Mueller provides them cover to dump Trump. Now, what would it mean to dump Trump? Because that could take many forms. One would be related to what we talked about earlier. If the House does move to impeach Donald Trump in the new Congress, Republicans in the Senate could just get on board, right? They could vote to remove him, although for some of them, for many of them maybe, there would be political consequences to doing that. There are slightly more subtle methods that Republicans could employ. For example, they could communicate.
Hey, let's look this up. This is getting a bit drawn out. Let's see what this sounds like. Hopefully I won't get copyrighted by it. Hey, which one is it, man? Hey, I put the... Alright. Come on, go.
Crisp and golden hair.
It's Jimmy Dean. Woo-wee.
Yeah. Слава КПСС. Ты знаешь, кто я? Владимир Путин. Владимир Путин. Владимир Путин. В русском рэпе Владимир Путин. Владимир Путин. Владимир
The
Путин.
fuck is this?
Владимир Путин. В русском рэпе Владимир Путин.
I don't know, man. It's kinda... I'll play for a minute.
Владимир Путин. Владимир Путин. Владимир Путин. В русском рэпе Владимир Путин.
Что ты можешь рассказать за рэп? Не смей при мне говорить за рэп. Я ебал твой протест, антихайп на века. Моя мать Глинтвейн, мой отец из Чика. Чтоб ты знал, мудак, как меня ебет мир моего корешка. Убил героин, другой в реанимашке. Хрюша Степашка, кукла с рукой в жопе.
Алексей Навальный.
Ты понял монету,
Russian
не
Eminem.
сказка, если слава гной на Кремлю продался. Я зазнался раньше, чем ты начал делать рэп, сука.
Владимир Путин. Владимир Путин. Владимир Путин. В русском рэпе Владимир Путин. Владимир Путин.
I don't know. This ain't my thing, man. I'm sorry, I can't do this. Yeah, I can sort of see the charm to it, but I don't know. Who says what? Hey, Graham Elwood. What else can we look at real quick? Because I might be calling this, putting this stream to a close tonight. Didn't want to do the one that was too long, but you pause Russian. Oh, okay, no, there's nothing wrong with Russians. It's just that, I mean, I watch stuff with 3CP, old communist Russia. If it's funny, I thought it was gonna be funny. You know what I mean? Like a comedy that I watch, because that seems I don't know, a little too serious for the vibes I'm trying to put out today. Hey, here we go. Let's watch this real quick.
We're going to start by talking about AMLO, Andres Lopez Obrador, who has become, who was inaugurated over the weekend as the president of Mexico. We have a brief clip that we're going to play from Al Jazeera English. It will be about 20
There's
seconds.
Hiram Butler.
I'll give
Welcome
you
to the
time
stream,
for,
man.
It's published in the Jacobin with, of course, crew, Bashkar Sumkar's magazine. Everybody should be reading and subscribing to the Jacobin. In terms of our collective well-being, this is AMLO. In terms of our collective well-being, the politics of pillage have been an unmitigated disaster. In economic and social affairs, we've been regressing instead of moving forward. This is hardly surprising. The model itself, and this is speaking of neoliberalism, The model itself is designed to favor a small minority of corrupt politicians and white-collar criminals. The model does not seek to meet the needs of the people or to avoid violence and conflict. It seeks to neither govern openly nor honestly. It seeks to monopolize the bureaucratic apparatus and transfer public goods to private hands, making claims that this will somehow bring about prosperity. The result, monstrous economic and social inequality. So, and he goes on. As in any case, there is never going to be successful left governance without a highly mobilized base, and there's also going to need to be a global synchronization of governments and movements. So the task ahead is very hard. The literal politics of him taking on the types of corruption networks in Mexico and how they implicate all of the ruling class there, as well as U.S. foreign policy and drug cartels, are quite literally potentially extremely dangerous. But he is a light right now in this situation and a counterbalance to an emerging far-right neo-fascist core, which will now be led by Bolsonaro and backed, of course, by the Trump regime in Latin America. So we'll continue to watch and follow AMLO closely. Now we're going to throw this up on screen for a second. I tweeted this out the other day. I had an opportunity to speak with, just for a couple of minutes, just in a room, with Fernando Haddad. Again, this is actually through our friend Bashkar over at Jacobin, who helped organize a tour of New York of Fernando Haddad, who is, of course, the presidential candidate who took Lula's place after the Brazilian courts in a obscene act of anti-democratic animus, after already making him a political prisoner, barred him from running, even though he was outpolling everybody else by double digits and almost certainly would have defeated Bolsonaro if oligarchs and the military had not intervened in another way, in addition to the first step of making him a political prisoner and barring Lula from running. Fernando Haddad actually spoke on how Brazil fit into a broader collapse of neoliberalism as well. He was both simultaneously very willing to acknowledge the failings of the Workers' Party to take on some of those more structural efforts that they needed to make when they were in power, but also was very realistic and thorough about the risks and the limits they faced. And he asked, humbly and very sincerely, we gotta keep calling our representatives on this, literally. Everybody inside the Democratic Party needs to be speaking on the rights situation in Brazil. Another little across the board, because there's going to be a full-scale attack on every category of people there. And part of the reason that Lula as a political prisoner is so important is because it's the same reason that the hit squad that assassinated Marielle Franco and killed her and her driver, there's still been no arrests in that case. And that's almost certainly part of the same right-wing nexus of the police state, of narco gangs, and of the right that are taking over Brazil. One young woman, Afro-Brazilian woman, spoke to Haddad, and she said, Marielle was a lesbian, a black woman from the favelas. They murdered her. Lula was a metal worker, came from poverty, and lifted us. They put him in jail. And these are both real and symbolic examples of the elimination strategy of the Brazilian regime under Bolsonaro, and of course with the active support of all of Western finance and capital, the endorsement of the Wall Street Journal, Financial Times saying that AMLO is a greater threat to democracy than Bolsonaro, the just sort of deranged moral grotesqueness of these people in full light. Lula matters, though, because in addition to him, Judge Sergio Moro, who is the judge who ran Lava Jato and put Lula in prison, is now the justice minister of Bolsonaro. He has already started talking about targeting other PT leaders, including Fernando Haddad, and just yesterday announced to the country, guess where his next major site of corruption that he sees in Brazil that he's going to plan on attacking with his justice ministry. Does anybody have any guesses?
Labor unions?
Labor unions. That is the next major site of quote-unquote corruption that a far-right fascistic con man who is feted across the United States and Europe by either naive idiot liberals who don't understand politics or outright brutal fascists who want a regime that will totally strip Brazil of all of its resources, as well as all other countries in the developing and emerging world. So please, solidarity for that. And also in line with a very good effort of the Sanders Institute to launch a progressive international. Yet another reason why, if you have any kind of actual progressive politics, and he runs, there's just no debate about who you support in the 2020 primary. Obviously, it's got to be Bernie Sanders. You just enjoyed that Michael Brooks show video.
TYT, sure. Mr. Butler. Do that for you. Anything in particular? Go. Here we go. Here we go.
No plot.
Yeah, if you're far right winger, this might get your blood going. So.
Freshman Democrats in Congress are
The establishment Democrats go after Medicare for all. Weird, isn't it?
fighting to get Medicare for all passed, and they're very aggressive about it. Now, there have been members of Congress who have been there for a while. Representative Jayapal is one example, who are fighting for Medicare for all. But the establishment behind the scenes is working.
Wait. Jeremy says there was a call in the majority party by a guy arguing against funding free school. Yeah, I seen that guy. That guy's a fucking idiot.
Private interests and
I might play that here in a minute.
To defeat them. And Politico did a great job in outlining these people and this story. So according to the report, the private sector interests, backed in some cases by key Obama administration and Hillary Clinton campaign alumni, are now focused on beating back plans that would allow people under 65 to buy into Medicare. Now, more than a dozen groups intend to press their point through the Partnership for America's Healthcare Future, a vehicle to combat an expanded government role in healthcare. So this partnership includes the who's who of the private industry. I'm going to give you the details on what they're going to do, and the Democratic members of Congress who are in favor of them. I'm also going to give you some numbers in terms of how much these Democratic members of Congress are getting funded by private interests. But Cenk, I want you to jump in. I know you love this story.
Yeah, I do. So let me read you my favorite quote from the story, but there's a whole bunch.
It's Butler says, I'm sure his argument was something along the lines of not the job of the government. Well, the thing is, he kind of said something along them lines, but he didn't state his points too well, and he kept kind of moving around a little bit. I'll probably play it here in a minute after, because this is a 13-minute one. I don't know if I want to spend 13 minutes on this. Oh, Jeremy says it wasn't clipped. You have to go to the full show yesterday. Go to 20. Yeah, I think there was a clip somewhere that I've seen from the Majority Report's website.
A lot of the companies in the healthcare insurance industry.
But I do want to say, Hiram, it does come back to that main point I was talking about with you in the other little back and forth we had in the other live stream video, that if you don't like taxes or government programs or whatever that much, no one's forcing you to participate in our economy. No one's forcing you by law to make an income and therefore to pay taxes. No one's doing that. You and many others like you are making money. You don't mind making the money. You love making the money off of the system that allows you to be monetarily gainful at the degree you are in the first place. But as soon as it's going to say, hey, can you take some of that income you just made from the system that allowed you to be gainful and put it back into, say, some government programs that end up being more effective and saves money and get rid of human, negate human needs and shit. And then you guys are like, oh no, no, no. So I mean that's crooked, dude. And then it's just not balanced. I mean, I could see if you were forced by law to make an income, yeah, but you're not. We're not. But people sure do love taking advantages of the benefits of our tax-funded government infrastructure that's funded by taxes. That allows you and me to make the kind of money we're making right now. Because without that, we ain't making shit. I mean, that's the way it is.
Say this is outrageous. To actually give everybody health care in America.
Of course
How
we're
dare
like
they?
At least
how
you're
dare
honest.
they, as Ojeda would say. So,
You make me laugh.
We're going to fight back, and we want incremental change. So then, Politico, Adam Cancerin, writing, says, that's echoed in Democratic circles by strategists fearful of squandering the party's advantage on health care and losing the support of industry groups that have proved helpful in recent healthcare fights. Now let's break that down. So why would you squander the party's advantage on healthcare if you support Medicare for all? That polls at 70%. I know they're bad at politics, but for corporate Democrats, 70% is higher than 30%, substantially higher. That's like a really great issue for you guys. So that makes no sense at all. They're corrupt. They want the money. They want the money. That's all they care about. Okay, then secondly, they literally said they're worried about losing the support of industry groups. Okay, thank you for the admission. I appreciate it. And later in the article, they say, and in the meantime, progressives say they're more concerned about courting voters than winning over big business.
Damn right. Damn right.
But it's stated, and it's a good article, and it gives you all the perspectives and stuff. But it's stated as if like that's a new and revolutionary idea.
But it is. But it is. Right now, in the current political system that we have and the record corruption that we're seeing in Congress, it is. It's a crazy idea, right? Because members of Congress have ignored the American people. They've ignored their base, their voters, and they've only focused on private interest groups. So yeah, this is like a crazy revolutionary idea for the times we're living in.
I totally agree with you. And for Washington, they're like, what, these crazy progressives looking to represent the voters? Now think about it. The
heaven
Democrats
forfend.
and Republicans pretended that they were in favor of the big donors because that would get them the money to appeal to the voters, because at the end, we're supposed to live in a democracy, right? But now when you say, how about we just go get the voters? They're like, that's crazy. No, 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 no. Wait, but if you already have the voters, what do you need the donors for? Oh, right, to get rich.
Yes.
So that's why these consultants and lobbyists are like, well, who would pay for my kids' private education? I would have to slum it in public education with your kids. No way. No, I do not attack my lobbyists and donor friends.
So I love naming names, and we're going to name some names in a second. But the private industry has realized that the American people overwhelmingly do support a healthcare plan like Medicare for all. They do want a single payer system. And so instead of threatening people with money because they know it's not going to work with some of these Democrats, some of these progressives, they're going to start funding disinformation campaigns. So I want to give you guys all the information on that so you can keep a lookout for it. The partnership is planning to launch a campaign featuring
Hiram says, and to what I will use generic free market argument, and it would apply to me if I was an ANCAP. Well, I think there are different degrees of right-wingerism and ANCAPism or min-capism, libertarianism. I mean, even for me, right, you can say that when it comes to social issues and social program, social issues like weed, abortion, war, drug war. You could say that I am more libertarian-ish when it comes to economics or civil rights, that sort of thing. I'm definitely more progressive. So there's no one size fits all. It's all just general descriptions and then a detailed, your detailed preferences. But yeah.
Ads pull.
What's it take to
What
make
the
a
hell?
Penn Station sandwich? Grills.
Damn. Oh, that looks so fucking good. Penn Station.
And
even without a government progress. Well, it could happen. I mean, look at me. A prime example would be Somalia. I mean, they're you know, pretty much a grand social. Okay, okay. Oh, fair enough, definitely. But I mean, Somalia, you know, they got their problems. I mean, they're doing what they want to do, but if the closest thing we have to a system that's has no government involvement, close to anarchy, that would be the Somali state. Um, but it's a loose collection of roving gangs and shit. Extremely dangerous. I mean, you better have your own weapons out the ass, and do you really want to live like that? I mean, I'm pretty sure you don't. I mean, you say you might want to, but in a way that'll somehow work out. But just, you know, it's not too not too promising.
White papers playing up the private sector's role in warning against future disruptions to the health system. Avalier, a consulting firm Democrats often leaned on to highlight the dangers of GOP repeal bills, is producing research for the coalition. So it gives you an idea that they're working with a group that they had been working with in the past to basically spread all sorts of misinformation about programs like Medicare for All. America's health insurance plans and Blue Cross Blue Shield Association helped found the coalition alongside the Federation of American Hospitals, the big drug lobby Pharma, and the American Medical Association. Now, with that said, who are the bad guys in Congress right now who want to work with this coalition to defeat Medicare for All? Well, one of those people is Representative Richard Neal from Massachusetts, a Democrat, and I want to give you his quote. Let's go to graphic 16. He says, "We want to continue promoting the idea of accessibility and improving the Affordable Care Act. That should be the primary goal we have." So look, anytime you see a member of Congress, specifically a Democratic member of Congress who wants to fight back against something like Medicare for All, follow the money. And that's what I did. I wanted to see how much Representative Neal receives from the private health insurance industry and from pharmaceutical companies. If you just look at 2017 to 2018, his top contributors came from the private health insurance industry.
Of course!
And pharmaceutical companies. So I want to give you the exact numbers. There you go. Private insurance companies in 1 year gave him $364,900 in campaign donations. When it came to pharmaceutical companies and health products companies, he received $252,750.
Okay, that is called corruption. Yes. And so now I will tell you something that you will never, ever hear on television, on cable news. Richard Neal is corrupt. He takes...
They pay him because they like his agenda. Yeah.
That private money.
Of course they do.
To win his elections, and then he serves those private interests. And by the way, the Democratic leadership is also corrupt because they made Richard Neal...
Well, not so much the politicians, but the corporations who have so much influence and monetary control over those politicians. So I'd probably say that.
The incoming chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, that controls the budget. That is the single most important committee, arguably as important as Speaker of the House. And Nancy Pelosi, she says she's working with progressives. I hear from all the people in Washington that she's a wonderful liberal. Put in a deeply corrupt person to control the budget. Why? Because they live in corruption. They bathe in corruption. So to them, they're like, what do you mean? Of course I took giant amount of money from the insurance companies. Then I protected the insurance companies. What else would I do? How about you try not being corrupt? And you say, well, that's not possible. You have to take corporate PAC.
So again, if politicians were weaker, well, if they were weaker, then it's not them being too weak or too strong. It's about corporate money and influence being too powerful and too influential on politicians. You can have a politician that's weak as fuck, but if you have way too much corporate power influencing them, they can still do a great deal of damage.
PAC money, is that true? Not anymore, it isn't. We got 7 Justice Democrats who
get
took
big money
no
out of
corporate
politics.
PAC money, and now they're kicking ass in Congress. In fact, they're kicking your ass, and that's why you don't like it. So the person leading the Medicare for All caucus is Congresswoman Jayapal, a Justice Democrat. Doesn't take corporate PAC money. She doesn't need your money. And all of a sudden, she represents the voters. She has for a long time. That's why she was happy to join the group. And you're shocked and chagrined. But I don't understand. You won't take the bribes. How are we supposed to do business? Okay, and now look, someone else that is now not taking corporate PAC money is Elizabeth Warren. Here's what she said, and I love this quote. Senator from Massachusetts. She says, so the importance of persuading every one of the insiders that this is going to be a great deal for them has diminished.
If a corporation gives you 100,000 because they really dig my stance on the Second Amendment, did they just waste 100K? Well, they may have. Yeah, it depends. I mean, a lot of donors are taking a risk whenever they donate to a particular candidate. I'm just saying, get big money, big corporate money out of politics, and the rest will fall in line or begin to. That's just what I'm saying.
Right? So in the past, Obama would go around going, are you happy, lobbyist? Are you happy, consultant? Are you happy, corrupt senator, right? And now Elizabeth Warren is saying, why do we have to please the insiders? Why don't we actually just please the voters? It's amazing what happens when you don't take corporate PAC money.
And I do want to just give you one last quote, and that's from Representative Jayapal, because she has been a fighter on this, and I love what she had to say, especially when she found out about how much money is pouring in these efforts to defeat Medicare for All. She said, quote, we know the insurance companies and the pharma companies are all putting tens of millions of dollars into trying to defeat us, which I take as a badge of honor, that they're so concerned about a good policy that they're going to put so much money into trying to defeat it. Those are the words of a fighter, and I love it.
And my last point is calling out more bad guys, almost all exclusively from Clinton.
You said, says, will only change how underhanded they accept the bribes. Well, if they get caught, you know what I mean, then that's it, they're caught. You know, it's, if there's a specific law and they do get caught, then that's probably the end of their career. They have to leave, and then hope you see. Yeah. All right, Jeremy, guys. Hey, Green, I'm probably gonna wrap it up here in a minute because I'm just getting really tired and I gotta get something to eat before I gotta go to sleep and get up for tomorrow. So I just want to do a short stream for tonight and see what's going on. But I appreciate everybody being here. Green, Jeremy, Hiram, Butler. Thanks for all showing up and participating in the stream and doing the thing. And I'll try to be a bit more frequent as I do the streams on the YouTube channel page, because I do focus a lot now on my Twitter page, my Everyday Progressive Show on Twitter. I'm sorry, on Twitch. It's on Twitch. The Everyday Progressive on Twitch is where I do my majority of my streaming too, around 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, roughly the same time as I do this one. So with that, y'all have a good night. I am out.